So that orange blob behind me is the MSR Access to 4-season lightweight 2-person tent. And yes, it's quite orange. It also comes in green. So this is listed as being a 4-season backcountry skiing tent. So far I've only used it in late winter, early spring, in North Wales, in the mountains, and a few times in the forest. So I haven't given it a full test in every condition that you might expect from a 4-season mountain tent, but I think I've used it enough to give my opinion on it. First thing is that it's really well built. You've got the Eastern Cyclone poles, which are a composite, and they sort of bend in the as you'd expect them to, but you don't really get that just how far can I push this feeling that you sometimes get. It's also really well thought out in terms of how it goes together. There's a sort of exoskeleton of poles that the inner hangs from, and then the fly sheet pitches on top of that. It all goes together symmetrically, so if you're doing it by head torch and you've arrived at the pitch late at night, then you can do it all pretty much by feel. There are 2 doors, 2 vestibules, so it is a symmetrical tent, which is something I always try and look for when I'm looking for something that I might have to put up in a storm or at night, because sometimes I'm an idiot, sometimes I'm tired, sometimes I'm lazy, and I want something that will work when I'm not necessarily at my best. Just under 2 kilos, it's sort of 1.88, 1.9 kilos or thereabouts, or at least the review sample that I had comes out at around about that weight, which is fairly heavy by modern lightweight tent standards. But most of those modern lightweight tents that are lighter than this aren't quite as rugged, and I don't think I'd have as much confidence pitching one in a Scottish winter. It'll shed snow nicely. I can imagine coming back to this after a day's winter climbing and finding sort of the snow built up around the outside, but not that sunken flat bit in the middle that you sometimes get. It's also just about big enough inside for 2 people. You can put your kit in the porches and the vestibules either side. If you're somebody of my stature, then the other person in the tent is going to have to be quite slim. 2 grown adults of sort of normal climber outdoors person build, not necessarily my build, will fit in there nicely. It's an American design, and I know you guys over there, you don't necessarily have as much rain as we do here in the UK, but the MSR is also from the Pacific Northwest, so on that corner of the United States you're not unfamiliar with rain, I believe, and it's, can get quite damp. So by being inner first, it means that in any kind of rain or precipitation, you're going to end up with a wet inner tent until you can get that fly sheet on. You can get the fly sheet on in probably a minute or 2 after you've started putting the tent together if you're practiced, but if you have any kind of delay in that, you're going to have water inside the tent, and there is no way to put the inner and the outer up together. There's also an issue with the pegs. There are 2 less pegs than there are pegging points. So you have the 4 corners of the inner, and then the fly sheet clips to the 4 corners there, and then you have 2 points in the middle along the long edges that pull the fly sheet out to shape, and then you've got 4 guy lines on that fly sheet which can tension it up and really make it solid in any kind of wind. So MSR, why have you supplied 2 less pegs than you have pegging points? And I did check, and it is the right number of pegs that came with my sample. It's not just that I've lost them or something like that. There are 2 less pegs than there are pegging points. So that means that if I want to use this in winter conditions or use it in stormy conditions, I will have to add 2 pegs in myself. I've spoken to a couple of retailers, and they apparently have been told that it's to do with saving weight. Well, put the pegs in, and then I'll decide if I want to take them all with me, if saving those extra 24 grams or whatever it is matters that much. So it's those things of being inner first pitching and not having enough pegs. Can you tell that one annoys me a little bit? Between those 2 things, it will mean that if you're choosing this tent, you're choosing it for some very specific reasons. And there is a lot to like about it. Going back to the positive points, it's relatively lightweight for the size and the four-season capability. It goes together well, and in a storm or in the dark or when you're tired, there's nothing in there to really trip you up. You can get it all done, get inside, get resting. There is enough room to cook in the porches, so in that four-season mountain, reasonably lightweight tent range of products out there, the MSR Access 2 is good. It's fine. It should be on your shortlist. So if you do want something that just goes together, fits two people, is under 1 kilo per person, has got good build quality, and you don't mind that it either comes in orange or you can get hold of a green one, then it could be fine. It could be fine for you. I do like it. It is going to go in my regular equipment rotor. It's going to make it into my pile of tents that I use with clients. I think I'm going to use it in Scotland this winter. It's possibly the most rugged of my small mountain tents that I own, but I am going to have to go and find 2 pegs from my stash in the jam jar on the shelf. If you like my ramblings, then you could subscribe to our channel. If you like this video alone, then you can like the video, but don't feel under pressure to do any of that. And if you think you absolutely hate it, or you think I'm a complete idiot, that's fine too. You can put that in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.